Good morning. This is Michelle, your motivator. Um, Standing in the midst of the park all morning. I've been trying to do a broadcast called Living in the Key of Life, and each time I've done the broadcast, my phone just totally shuts down. So I know that I have to do what I have to do to get this broadcast out to encourage someone, to let them know that you have to live in the key of life. And there are some factors that must come forth in order for you to live in the key of life. The very first factor is you have to love yourself. A lot of times we're going around being with someone, telling them that we love them, but we have not even begun to tap into loving ourselves. And because we haven't begun to do that, it has caused us to submit out to other people insufficient, kind of fraudulent type of what we call love to someone else. And the Bible says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. And so anyone else that you're connected to is your neighbor, whether it's in a relationship, mother, father, child, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, co-workers, whatever it is, you're connected, and that's your neighbor. But in order for you to have the most sufficient love, and the acronym I use for love is for life, have a sufficient life, which is LIFE. That acronym to me means love in full effect. So in order to live in the key of life, you have to love in full effect. And in order to love in full effect, the first, very, very first factor, even before you can love God, you've got to love you. And you've got to treat you like the greatness that you are. The highest place or the highest thought that you could ever have of yourself is you. And so when you understand or you understand that you are an original, no one else can duplicate you. There is no competition within you because nobody else can compete with being you, and you can't compete with being with someone else. And so you have to come to the very knowledge of knowing and loving yourself and accepting that you are an original, can't be duplicated, can't be competed with. And if you're going to live in the key of life, that's one of the very first things that you have to examine yourself and determine how or if you love yourself. Then, as you begin to love yourself, you take out judgment of others, you take out competition of others, you take out having a view of what you're going to do based on what someone else says or what you've been conditioned in your life to be. You eliminate a whole lot of blockage from your internal being when you begin to love yourself and you become to your true being of who you are. And at the point you become to that being, there's nobody and no one else who can stop you. So that's one of the very first factors of living in the key of life, that you have to love yourself. The next factor is you have to be very conscious. You have to be awake. You have to be conscious of your inner voice. That inner voice that some call God, but he never said God was his name. He said, I am God, which means those are attributes. Those are great points to live within. Whatever you call God, that's your choice. That's your will. But when you actually come into the being of yourself, you get to know that that being, that inner voice, that powerful voice, that coexisting voice that exists with you is the place of connecting in the key of life. So you have to love yourself. You have to be conscious and awake of that inner voice that I call God, the omnipotent one, the omniscient one, the omnipresent one. You have to become in the nowness of that voice. That voice is continuously speaking every second, every moment that you take, every step that you take. That voice is telling you the next step. But because we have so much interference with noise and we don't take time out like right now, instead of rushing, and time is not on your side. Time is your enemy. Time causes you to fail a lot of times because you're so focused on it. But you take this time, this early morning, to just be in the presence of God and nature and the universe, the sky and the sun, and you begin to take in energy. Everything is made of energy. Your body needs to connect with the electricity of the energy in the universe so that it can operate in the key of life. Wow, that's powerful. And so the very next thing that you have to do is you have to remove fear. Because fear is false evidence appearing real. That means it's an illusion. It's not actually real. It has not actually happened. It's not going to happen. It is false evidence. It has no bearing. It has no foundation. You have created it to be something. You have made fear into a present moment, a present feeling, a present, what I call paralyzed state, where you are paralyzed now because of an illusion. You have become, as I heard someone say on Sunday, you have become imprisoned without bars. There's no key. There's no lock. You just have to make up your mind to walk away from it. And so those are three vital points that you have to hang on to if you're going to be in balance, if you're going to be in harmony, if you're going to be in tune, if you're going to walk in the key of life. Your life will never be out of tune if you operate in those three principles on a consistent moment-to-moment basis, and be very conscious of what you're thinking. If what you're thinking is not what you want to think, then stop thinking it. You have that authority. Stop trying to control your thinking and take authority over your thinking. There are two different avenues. You're conditioned to control, but you are created to have authority, have dominion, have power over everything. So, this is Michelle, your motivator. Remember, you've been created by the Creator to be creative. So start creating. Have a blessed day.